What if the magic that built your town wasn't forged in grand spells or ancient prophecies, but in the quiet, stubborn acts of ordinary people choosing to stay when everything urged them to leave? In Founding Hearts, Kiva Hart delivers a small-town origins romance that redefines frontier magic as communal devotion rather than supernatural spectacle, proving that true enchantment lies not in bending reality, but in tending to the fragile bonds that make a place feel like home. This isn't merely another cozy fantasy with quaint shops and quirky elders. It's a tender, emotionally precise narrative where every cobblestone holds memory, every shared meal carries ancestral weight, and love means honoring the past without being imprisoned by it. From the first heartwarm narration, listeners are welcomed into a settlement where magic hums beneath floorboards and belonging is cultivated through daily acts of care. Perfect for fans of gentle romantasy and stories where history breathes through the present, this audiobook serves up atmospheric comfort, relentless authenticity, and a protagonist whose journey from outsider to cornerstone resonates with anyone who's ever sought roots in soil that didn't originally bear their name. When archivist Alara Vance arrives in Haven's Reach to document its founding myths for a state grant, she expects folklore, not to discover the town's frontier magic is alive in the hands of baker Mara Chen, whose sourdough starter remembers every family's grief, and blacksmith Liam Hayes, whose ironwork mends more than metal. But as Alara navigates town meetings and whispered legends, she realizes this project isn't about preserving history, it's about participating in its ongoing creation. Hart masterfully avoids reducing magic to decorative charm or Alara to detached observer. Instead, she crafts a narrative where documentation becomes devotion, where consent is negotiated through community rhythms, and where romance blooms not from destiny, but from mutual investment in a shared future. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Alara's academic reserve softening into genuine connection, while secondary voices shift subtly between generational cadences, making every interaction feel like both inheritance and invitation. You don't just hear the town awaken, you feel the seismic shift of a woman learning that home isn't found in archives, but in the willingness to be shaped by those who've stayed. What elevates Founding Hearts beyond typical small-town fare is its nuanced portrayal of frontier magic as embodied practice rather than mystical inheritance. The townsfolk aren't wielding arcane forces, they're sustaining traditions that encode resilience against erasure, challenging the notion that magic requires bloodlines over labor. Alara's relationships evolve through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silence during harvest festivals that bypass performance, setting boundaries that protect both research and relational integrity, and defending living customs against outsiders who mistake tradition for stagnation. Supporting characters add vital texture, elders whose stories carry both warmth and warning, young residents navigating inherited expectations, even the town square itself rendered as living archive whose stones absorb centuries of collective choice. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In places built on perseverance, tenderness is legacy, and presence is the only true spell. Even the magical mechanics serve thematic depth, with seasonal rituals mirroring emotional cycles and communal repairs becoming metaphors for intergenerational healing. For audiobook listeners, this production is pure auditory sanctuary. The narrator embodies Alara and her community with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries measured curiosity laced with dawning reverence, while secondary voices span ages and accents, making every resident's journey distinct yet harmonized. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming intimacy, distant fiddle music marking cultural continuity, rain against clapboard walls during vulnerable confessions, the hushed clink of teacups sinking with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the rhythm of rural life, deliberate during reflection and ritual, then gently accelerating as external pressures collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through urban chaos or unwinding in twilight stillness, the audiobook creates a portable haven where slowness feels sacred and presence feels like gift. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a world where magic isn't spectacle, it's sustenance. Ultimately, Founding Hearts redefines small-town romantasy by centering female epistemology within communal frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for atmospheric wonder and heartfelt resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on settler colonial legacies, feminine knowledge systems, and the radical act of building belonging through mutual stewardship rather than ownership. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether magic can coexist with history, or if true strength requires softness in hardened landscapes, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful enchantment is simply showing up with open hands. Press play, step onto the porch, and prepare to believe that even in towns shaped by struggle, hearts still find ways to take root. Your next favorite romantasy isn't waiting in epic quests. It's waiting in the brave, quiet choice to help build something true.